if I'm gonna degenerate, right? I'm like the one with the suit on and make sure that I commit the devious acts, but I do it with precision.
Precision.
Yes.
There's nothing precise about you.
What you mean though?
What's clapping, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Intervention. This is episode 14. I'm your host, BMG, here with my co-host, my brother, Clean Bean.
What's good?
What's clapping?
Not much, watching a bunch of anime. I got like 4 lined up right now.
4. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Tell me what they are.
Oshinoko,
Okay.
caught up. Ghost Stories. I have Aaliyah. Hides Her Feelings in Russian.
You started watching it?
Finally started watching it. And I'm also going to watch, I haven't watched it yet since it's a movie, but The Tunnel to Summer.
Oh, I heard about that movie.
Yeah.
So you don't watch that movie? Okay.
I didn't watch it yet. I'm going to watch it. I have good hopes for it. I have really good hopes for it. I have no idea. I haven't looked at any reviews. Nothing. I'm just going in raw. I'm just... All right.
Just going the episode just started. We already started? Okay. Got it.
I didn't mean that.
No, it's okay. No, I understand. I get it. So tell me, how do you feel about Aaliyah? Because now that you're, starting to watch it, I obviously get to hear your experience. So let me know. How do you feel it?
I feel like it's okay. So to start off, I'm on episode 5. I like the way that they're not necessarily going the, conventional route of like rom-coms. Like it seems like there's certain rom-coms that like they get straight up into it sometimes, but they're kind of reserved when it comes to the feelings of the two characters that like each other. It's like, okay, fine, here and there. Fan service is there, but not as much as others in comparisons. It's like light, it happens here and there. But with the siblings, what is that sister on?
I was waiting for you to say something like that. It would be his kiss sis.
My brother.
Honestly, like the fact that these tropes still exist, and I feel like they're still going to continue regardless. But the fact that it's still here and prevalent, and it's like highly regarded, it's something that's just like baffling to me. To be fair, it is kind of funny. Like I laugh at it. But if it were to go any further than that, I'd be like, ooh.
Like, yeah. Wait.
Pause. You'll see more later on where I'm like, okay. It's like one of those like bathtub scenes or something like that. But, besides that, I'm just like, why are we doing this?
What's happening?
Comedic factor, but why are we doing this? But as you were saying, like rom-coms, they do have that like sort of approach where they want to milk what they have. So they'll push off the relationship and focus more on the MC and the lover being stupid or being dumb, naive, one of the two, just not realizing what's right in front of them.
Yeah.
This one's a little different because of the fact that the MC, if we said the MC is Aaliyah.
Yeah. If we say it's her and
if we say it's her and the guy is, we'll just call him like pseudo MC. He's a pseudo MC. So but they're both MCs, right? Okay. His feelings aren't direct, like you don't see them there. They'll show up a little bit. But it's really her that the feelings that just come out. And he knows that they exist. Like he's not stupid, like he sees them. Yeah. There are some moments where it's like, okay, maybe he's still a little dense, but he's at least aware, of all of this just coming out of her mouth. He's aware,
he's just not accepting of what's happening. Like, oh, this girl actually likes me and she's hiding her intentions in Russian. I'm like, nah, it can't be that easy. Like I'm thinking the same way as him. I'm like, nah, there's no way it can't be that easy. But in reality, they both like each other. It just depends on, the timing sometimes, and also whether or not you're gonna go for it.
Facts. I mean, you're on episode 5, so you still got a lot to see. I know I feel like they're on episode 9 or 10 now. So I'm caught up. I still have to what do I have to do? I have a bunch of anime on my list that I haven't talked about yet. But I picked up Failure Frame. You remember that anime that I talked about way before, like before the season even started?
Yeah.
Failure Frame. It's basically like an Arifureta. Speaking of, Arifureta is coming back next season, but different conversation. Do I like it? Yes and no. I do like the premise. I feel like it was kind of cool here and there, but I do think a lot of things are exaggerated, and also it has like a mix between 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. Like it'll literally, you'll be in 2D, everything's fine, everything's great, and then all of a sudden it switches to 3D. I'm like, why are you switching? For what? This does not add any. It's either pick one, either 2D or 3D. Stop, just stop. You know what I mean? Like I hate anime that do that. I mean, I said the same thing with Ninja Kamui, right?
Yeah, like I was gonna mention that too. Like it just went downhill the moment that it added in the 3D and then like the suits. It's like, okay, the suit's fine. You wanna add something like that, fine. But when you switched it to 3D, it became like clanky and kind of, I don't know, the fighting scenes weren't there as much. I'd rather see like from the jump, like episode 1 and episode 2, where we see those fight scenes and then using like, techniques, and it's like human versus human rather than machine versus machine.
Exactly.
It was, peak, in my opinion.
That's why, that fight between him and the other dude, the the one with the long hair, the black hair.
Oh yeah.
That fight. Zai. When their suits like came off, the fights, it just immediately got so much better. I was like, this is a fight right here. But yeah, the same thing here. It's just like you have the premise of the main character who not falls from grace, but he's supposed to be like the weakest of the students that get summoned to that world, right? He's like an E-class hero or something like that. And he gets sent off because apparently anybody who's weak is going to be a detriment to like fighting the demons and the demon lord or whatever. They're not worthy of being there, so they have to be thrown into this dungeon, or I guess they call it the ruins. And he's there, and he's fighting all these, I guess you can call them like really serious monsters, and he's beating them, he's killing them, but he's still struggling along the way. And it's one of those stories, right? And the main character eventually meets a heroine, and then they get together and they start doing things together. It's like that. So what I will say is that it's okay for what is there. Do I think it's like a 10 out of 10? No, this is probably worth the Mal rating that it has, like a 6.9. I'll probably give it a 7 if depending on how the story goes. But that's the new one that I picked up recently. Remember, I'm still watching Hellsing. I'm still watching Oshinoko. I still watch Slime. Still got that going on. What we will do next episode, we'll use the entire episode for talking about what's coming out next season, because next season is going to be crazy. Fall is so stacked. I don't think I've ever seen it this. I have, but not in a while. Like it hasn't been this stacked in a long while. So yeah. I'm excited. I know you're excited. We're definitely going to talk about that next episode for sure. But you know why we're here today?
Yes, I do.
We're here for the Naruto episode, fam. We did Dragon Ball, we did One Piece, we did Bleach. Yeah, Naruto's left. We're gonna do part 1 for that. This time I did make sure to get some extra details for some of the research that I need to do for the episode, because there's some things that I just keep forgetting. Like same thing, Bleach episode, right? We were just doing the Bleach episode. I was like, I don't remember that fight. Oh, then I remember it, So I had to like actually go look and like, sheesh. So I did the same thing with Naruto, but this time we're gonna keep it. We're gonna split half and half too for this one as well. But we're gonna do like base Naruto, and then we'll go into Shippuden. Yeah, later. We'll probably do that part 2 later down the line, sometime at the end of the year. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we had a guest for each episode, and we have a guest today as well.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. So let's hear it for our guest for today, Iris. Come on in. Make some room for you.
Hello.
Welcome to the squad, Iris. This is our producer. This is our editor. This is the one who's in charge of practically everything, almost.
The episode's late. That's my fault.
But hey, you get the job done. It's a lot of work. So I like to say that we appreciate you for putting in all that effort. Editing is not an easy task. It takes hours and hours and hours of sifting through and grinding through all of our facial features and stupid moments and cursing and censoring and like that. So we appreciate you. And we're glad you're here to talk about Naruto.
Glad to be here. Yeah, a lot of time, like everybody in the crew gets to be the crew getting to be on the show is like part of why we started this. So I think it's good to have these episodes where we kind of go in depth with a lot of the most popular anime. Like I imagine we'll probably do a lot more of this stuff in the future. But yeah, so
Want to get started? Perfect. All right. So my plan for today is basically the same thing that we did for the previous episodes, but we're going to keep it based on Naruto. And we're going to start with my question to you being, when did you start Naruto? How did you get into it?
So I started Naruto on Toonami for sure. Like I think when it first started airing, it was on Toonami, and I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Like that was like what my family did. So from like 5 years old, I was already like watching anime. Like my mom still watches like Saint Seiya and stuff like that. But for me, like the first anime anything I ever saw was literally Dragon Ball Z, and I'm pretty sure I saw it like all the way through more than once. So I remember when Naruto first came out, I was just like, I saw it on Toonami and I was just like, oh, this is just like Ninja Dragon Ball Z, cool. And that's kind of how I just started watching it. And yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. What about you, Clean Bean?
The first time I ever watched Naruto was right after I was finishing up catching with One Piece, because that was back when in middle school for me, and I went all the way up to like Water 7.
I do remember you said that, yeah.
Yeah, came back, and then I just caught up all the way through, and I was like, okay, I need to look for something else. And then I see Naruto, I'm like, hold up now. This could be fire. And it was entering from middle school into high school, I started to watch Naruto, because that was like, what, 2016, when it was just starting to finish up the anime. The manga finished.
Yeah, the manga finished by that point. The anime was finishing up.
Yeah, the anime was finishing up, and I was basically playing catch up all the way until when Naruto and Hinata got married. Sorry for any spoilers, but
no big deal. We're about to talk about the entire episode, but let me ask you something, because this is like generational as well. Like, speaking of generations here, we are technically a mix of different generations. You are the youngest here. You are 22 now, right?
Indeed.
Iris, you're 25, right? I'm 27, about to turn 28 in like a month. So we've each had like different portions of the anime world kind of injected into us. Obviously, it's a lot more similar between me and Iris because we're much closer in age. But like, how did you feel entering that community a little bit late? You weren't late, but Naruto was already out and churning out those episodes. How did you feel coming into it?
I felt like very welcomed. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you're coming into a community that you haven't established yourself into, or like you don't know the tropes, you don't know certain characters, certain popular animes, like it could be frightening at certain times, but the anime community kind of welcomes you in. It's like, yay, yo, you gotta watch this, or like, hey, I'm about to set you up, or I'm about to put you on. That's what I love about like this community. It's like, it's not as if you have to, I don't know, fit some agenda or some narrative. You just have to come in as yourself, and people will recommend them for you.
That's what's up, man. And do you feel like Naruto was too much for both of y'all? I'll start with Iris first. Like the episode count, like the pacing, like how did you feel just seeing all of that there?
So Naruto is a lot shorter than Shippuden, especially because like we're gonna briefly touch on like the year of filler, but like we're not gonna spend a lot of time on that.
The year of fillers.
Especially because Naruto also has its own like set of filler. Like one thing that we're gonna end up talking about is the fact that like everything pretty much ends after like the final valley. Like there's really not anything else that adds to the story after that point. So that's pretty much like the ending point of Naruto. Especially because like in Shippuden we jump back in like after a 2-year time skip. I think it's like 2 years, right?
Just about, yeah.
Naruto unrolled his pants, so he's still wearing the same pants. He just unrolled them because he got a little taller, you know. And then like we jump into more serious stuff in the story, like enter the Akatsuki, because you see Itachi very early on, but he's the only one you see besides like Kisame, who's also with him. Beyond that, it's pretty much like they're the only two that you know about for the most part in Naruto, I'm pretty sure. When we come back into Shippuden, it's pretty much like hitting the ground running. But I don't think that Naruto was too much. I could definitely see Shippuden being too much for people, especially because the whole like figuring out which episodes are filler and not filler, which I think is one thing that makes it hard for a lot of like people trying to get into One Piece. Like just what like the parts that you have to skip and the arcs that you have to skip that don't really matter. Like Dragon Ball Z is a little bit different just because Dragon Ball Z, like the filler is kind of already baked in, and then there's also Kai, which like removes a lot of the filler, but like in my personal opinion, like ruins the soundtrack, like Bruce Falconer soundtrack all the way. But
Facts.
I think Naruto is pretty digestible, especially because like the story arcs in Naruto kind of run through really quickly, and it's pretty much nonstop action in pretty much every episode that you see of Naruto. And Shippuden is more or less similar, but there's a lot of like focusing on the people in Shippuden more than there is really in Naruto.
Facts. All right, Clean Bean, what about you? How you feeling about, just the episode count when you started? Did you feel intimidated at all? I mean, obviously, I don't think you did, considering the fact that you kind of just went through One Piece. So you were probably just looking for something to also feed that itch.
Yes, I was. Like, the moment that I got introduced to the anime community, right? You recommended One Piece to me. I do remember that. And I literally just ran through it, and I was looking for other things. I went from One Piece to Bleach and to Naruto, which was kind of like a interesting concept because I went One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, and then Dragon Ball, which is out like insane because most people are like, I would say rearrange that order, like maybe like Dragon Ball, and then they went to like Naruto, and then maybe One Piece, then maybe Bleach, or vice versa. Like, but I was not intimidated at all. Like, I'm just looking for fuel. That's it.
I'm just looking for fuel. I need more.
I need more.
I need more. All right. Now, my last question to you before we actually dive in: would you recommend Naruto as a starter anime to anybody?
Yeah, 1000%. I would recommend it. Maybe as like towards like your 5th or maybe like, I don't know, 10th anime, only because I don't know how hungry you are. Like, I'm gonna say how hungry you are, because let me tell you, you remember what I was saying about Bleach, how I went like 31 episodes in one day.
I remember that.
There are some times where people have a lot of time on their hands. I had a lot of time on my hands. Like, I didn't have to worry about anything with school because I was like, okay, I'm doing my thing. I had sports here and there, but pretty much any free time I had, if my homework's finished, I'm watching anime. That's pretty much about it. Not that many people have that same exact luxury, especially if you start in a different stage in life. Me starting in middle school is going to be different from someone that's starting in college.
True.
You have different obligations, different time management. You have to include those factors whenever it comes to recommending something to someone. So if I were saying like, hey, kids, you want to watch some anime? Honestly, go ahead, watch those shonen animes. That will definitely eat up some time. For people that are a little more, conservative about their time, I would rather you start up from something small, like a 12 episoder here and there, get to 24, get to 50, and then if you want to tackle it, by all means, go ahead and tackle it.
All right.
That's what I would say.
Iris? Same thing?
I would definitely say Naruto is an easy one to get into. I think one thing that Naruto does really well that a lot of the other anime don't do necessarily as well is just like the amount of thought that goes into the fights. Because Naruto has pretty like clear rules in the sense that like you first start off, it's pretty much all you hear about is like chakra and ninjutsu and then gadget jutsu, right? Kakashi kind of like is the character in the very beginning who establishes like this is how the world works and this is like the different types of like move sets and that sort of thing. And you don't really hear about taijutsu, partly because like it's kind of a bias in the ninja community as is until like the Chunin exam until you meet Rock Lee, right?
Sure.
I think that one of the things that really is really nice about Naruto is the fact that Naruto spends a lot of time on the fights and gives you a lot of insight into like different characters and like does a really good job of like scaling characters based on like what's going on and that sort of thing. Because like the first like main villain that you get to is Zabuza, and we'll definitely spend a lot of time just like talking about that. But there's a lot of people who are just like all Dragon Ball Z is like powering up and like people yelling for like 3 episodes and then punching each other. And especially if you look at Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball had a lot more to do with like technique and that sort of thing. Naruto maintains that same like technique being important and brings it into like almost like expands on it quite a bit. So I think that Naruto is really easy to get into, especially because there's so much going on, and Naruto is kind of a relatable character too. I think it's even for like people, like younger people of this generation, right? So yeah, I would definitely still recommend Naruto for sure. I think it's easy to get into. If you can skip a year's worth of filler, once you get to Shippuden, there's a lot happening. It's all very well thought out, and then we don't talk about Boruto.
And we can talk about that's
Yeah.
true. And that's actually another thing that I wanted to say before we start. Just simply the difference in stakes and how things just hit, like you said, it hits the ground running in Naruto. Boruto's completely different, the complete opposite. And I'm not trying to say that, okay, you know, because we're in a world of peace, it has to be like that. No, it doesn't have to be. Like you can build suspense and character development within a world that already is peace. Just nothing but peace. Because to be fair, Naruto, the world was peaceful. No, there was no ninja war. Not until later on. Obviously, there was some, you know, I guess we call them tension between the different villages. But besides that, that's it.
Naruto is still a much more peaceful time than it was for like the adults in Naruto. Like,
Facts.
Kakashi, like when you eventually see like what it was like for him growing up, they were literally in the middle of a war. So
Third
it's
Ninja
like,
War.
everything kind of changed for like this new generation doesn't really know what like being in the middle of a ninja war is like. Meanwhile, that's like what most of the adults that are there, most of the jonin, most of the teachers that are there, that's what they grew up in. Like not even counting when the nine-tailed fox attacks, which is pretty much how the first episode starts, like just giving you the context of that. It's just there was literally a great ninja war going on, and like so many different things were happening. So many moving parts were happening. Kakashi even like touches on this a little bit when he says the whole thing about like Sasuke is like threatening him after he like basically gets him against the tree, and he's just like, how would you feel if I like went and wiped out like everyone that you care about? And he's just like, oh, that's funny, everyone that you could be talking about is already dead.
Already dead. Yeah.
And then Sasuke's just kind of like,
I'm sorry.
So you're like me.
that's just my
People like my fault, bro.
But yeah.
All right. You want to jump into it? Let's jump into it.
Yeah. Let's
I mean,
get to it.
you just talked about the first episode. I mean, it's literally talking about the origins of how Naruto managed to get the Nine Tails, right? To be fair, what the fuck? But sorry, you have to censor that one. But like, to me, I was interested as soon as I saw the first episode, simply because of that fact. You know, it brought that fear of God into me, but also the interest to push forward within Naruto as the universe itself, right? And then we move into Naruto being treated like a piece of crap, you know, him on a swing, and, you know, just him not being able to, I guess, be a normal kid because he doesn't have his parents, and he has, you know, Hiruzen. He's got Hiruzen there.
Oh, you mean?
Get me started on the third Hokage.
No, go ahead, Papa.
Right, so like just covering like the first piece of Naruto, like you said, it jumps in with like giving you the context of the nine-tailed fox, and then you see Naruto growing up, like the swing that they cut to like every few seconds in the first couple of episodes, and it's just like all the other kids basically like have grown up with each other a little bit, and Naruto's like very clearly the odd one out, and he doesn't really know why. Like no one in the village, like pretty sure the third Hokage set a rule that no one could tell him, and it was supposed to like not be talked about. But the reason he's treated that way is because he's a Jinchuriki, which means he has a tail beast sealed inside of him, and he has half of the nine tails. Because like we'll get into that a little bit, but like it's only half the nine tails because for some reason when the Sage of Six Paths comes in way later on, it's like he ordered two pizzas, right? It's like the first pizza is evenly cut into 8 slices. And then it's just like, oh, what do you want us to do with the second one? It's just like, nah, just give it to me, the whole thing. Just like, no cuts.
That's the Nine Tails.
Like, I don't
No
understand.
cuts.
The Nine Tails has more chakra than the other tail beasts combined, which is part of why Naruto is busted. But
Absolutely busted.
But after you see kind of like some of him growing up and stuff like that, there's also a really funny clip by Sylvanus that kind of like, that really establishes like Naruto's treatment, because for one, like Sasuke also doesn't have a family, and That's because like the Uchiha clan was wiped out, and he's one of like the only surviving people, right? And he's got like a 5-star like luxury apartment. Like you see his where he lives. Like I think the third Hokage shows like Kakashi where both of them live once they become his students, and he's just like, damn, like Sasuke got the hookup, and then meanwhile Naruto is just like it's just like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'll take care of your kids like his parents, and then he comes in with like the ramen packs, and it's just like, I got you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Naruto, like at one point, there's a whole plot point for an episode because he drank like spoiled, yeah, like he drank like expired milk, and it's just like,
What?
and Kakashi's just like, this milk would like, you'd be like dying for like a week straight, and then Naruto was sitting there like chugging it the whole like episode, and you're just like, what is happening? But yeah, the first episode's kind of like throw you right in the sense that they're in the middle of taking the exams to become Genin, like the first level of being a ninja, and the final part of the exam, Naruto keeps failing, and that's the clone jutsu, right?
Yep.
There's multiple different types of clones. Like the main bad guy in the first part, Zabuza, uses water clones, but the clone jutsu is basically supposed to be like just a non-moving like clone copy of yourself that I guess is just like good for substituting with or something to that effect. And Naruto isn't able to do that. What he is able to do is there's another, I want to say Chunin. I don't remember what rank Mizuki was, but he was the other like teacher for the pre-Genin students, and it was him and Iruka, and Mizuki basically creates a whole plan where he knows about a forbidden scroll, and the reason they're all forbidden is because they were made by the first Hokage, which was Hashirama Senju, and we'll get into that. But the main thing you need to know is that Hashirama is basically like the Goku of this universe, even though he's been dead. Like there's really just no one who can stop him, and then it's to such a point that like they basically give people power-ups later on in the series by like using his cells. The plan starts, he basically is just like, hey, I know how you can get stronger, to like Naruto, who's like probably like 10 at this point. It's just like, if you steal this scroll, he breaks in and steals the scroll, and the whole village is looking for him. Iruka basically is the only person who actually still believes in him. It's just like Naruto wouldn't do that. Like, and then there's the whole confrontation in the forest where Mizuki is basically chasing after Naruto to get the scroll. Iruka's trying to help him, and then he gets jumped by Mizuki, and then that's when Mizuki tells him the reason that everyone hates you in the village is because you have the nine-tailed fox spirit sealed inside of you. And for a lot of people in the village, like that's where their parents, like they lost like family members. Like Naruto kind of like crashes out at that point and starts like goes to leave. There's this scene that like I always think about whenever I think of Naruto, where it's just like Mizuki's chasing after Naruto while using a transformation jutsu to look like Iruka, and then he gets headbutted by Naruto while he's chasing him in the trees, and he's just like, how'd you know, Naruto? How'd you know I wasn't Iruka? And he's just like, oh, that's easy. He just like drops the transformation jutsu, and he's like, that's because I'm Iruka. And it's like, what is happening? Like, I think from just that alone, like that really like locks you into the series, because it's just like, they can just do anything, huh? And the first episode is really important because not only does it establish the relationship between Iruka and Naruto, it also shows you just like how much potential Naruto has, because while he can't do the normal clone jutsu, he can do the shadow clone jutsu, and the shadow clone jutsu is supposed to be like an expert level jutsu, essentially. Most people cannot do anywhere near as many clones as Naruto can. Meanwhile, he like reads the scroll in like 2 hours. He's basically just like, if you ever touch my sensei again, like you're done. Like to Mizuki, just like, what are you gonna do? And then you just see like 100 Narutos in the forest, and it's just like, that's bad.
Get clapped.
It's like, how do you get it jumped on sight?
Naruto is the definition of like that joke that's just like, if you had to fight like 108 like 8th graders, how far could you get?
Yeah.
That's just Naruto. That's the entirety of Naruto. Like, it's literally just the main thing in his bag is just making copies of himself.
So
Yeah.
it's fair to say that Naruto's like OP from the start.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd agree?
I 100% agree. That man is the epitome of like, I don't know, determination and just not giving up. So I would 1000% say he's dangerous, especially when he's like looked down upon.
It's just how you said it, just like that. That's the problem, right? You have the foundation for talent. right? And you mix that in with an unbreakable determination to become Hokage. Unbreakable. Like, you cannot break this man. He says it the entirety of the show. Like, he gets annoying.
Yeah.
So you just believe it. I'm gonna be Hokage. Like, you can't break that. You combine that with his talent and you know, the innate foundation that he has there. It's like, how do you stop this man? Can you? I don't know. Not like that. Not like that.
Naruto has some crazy genes, and I think that definitely helps, but he also is like, I don't think he's consciously doing it, but he's also kind of tapping into the Nine Tails power from that point already. And you see that like when they get to fighting Zabuza for the second time. Because first time, like, he gets washed. But before we even get there, the end of that first episode is literally just establishing the relationship between Naruto and Iruka. He gives him his headband. He's just like, you officially graduate, and now he's a Genin. And that's when he gets set up with his team. And his team is, you know, Sasuke and Sakura, Team 7, and their teacher is Kakashi. And when you first meet Kakashi, he's very different from how he is at pretty much any point in the series, because he's just like trying to be a hard ass.
Remember that bell drill with Kakashi? I'm pretty sure it was 2 bells, right? And it was attached to, was it to his waist?
It was 2 bells attached to his waist.
To his waist. And he was like, yeah, you guys got to get these bells from me. Yeah, it did not work out so well for them, did it?
They had to get the bells from him, and then it was also that he was withholding food from them, and right before that he told them like they were going to be working really hard, so they should probably like skip breakfast. And then I think Sakura specifically didn't even eat the night before, and he was just like, yeah, so now y'all got to get these bells. And
They got cooked.
It was like, if you don't get the bells, whoever doesn't pass, like, one of you gets tied to a post, and the other 2 don't get to eat or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that was when the food was shared. Sasuke's like,
Yeah, Naruto tied to the post. I remember that.
That's a clip that's actually in our outro.
yeah, I remember that. That's what's up. That's what's up. Clean Bean, do you think that Kakashi knew what he was doing? Because I believe this was supposed to be his first team, right?
Yes.
This was his first time being a instructor, teacher, team leader.
It wasn't his first time, because
They all failed, right?
yeah, this was his first time that he actually passed people.
Passed.
Because there's a scene between Iruka and the 3rd Hokage in the middle of all of this, where he like gives him a book of all the students that Kakashi's had, and he's just like, literally all of them have failed.
Do you think that his training was still too harsh, or you just think that they exceeded expectations?
I mean, it were definitely pretty harsh if you see, like, you know, everyone else failing. Like, I'm not saying they were all the same talent level as, like, you know, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. Like, those 3 together kind of, you know, outdid themselves. But I will say, like, I do think it's a bit harsh of a, you know, training. That 1,000 years definitely was that was terrible. Like,
Up the booty.
up the booty cheeks. It's terrible.
And after that was the Land of Waves.
Yeah, after that, Land of Waves.
They got a team. Well, I think it was before that they were still doing like rudimentary missions. They were doing like those Ds and getting cat and
Before you get into the Chunin exams, you have to do, I think it was like 8 D rank missions, and like I think like 3 C rank missions, something like that. And then the whole thing with why the Land of Waves was like the mission that they ended up on was because the bridge builder lied about the threat level of the mission, because of the fact that like it was not Gato. Gato.
it was Gato. Yeah.
Gato wanted to keep control over the Land of Waves, and he was sending like basically mercs out to try to kill like the bridge builder, because once the bridge was built, then the Land of Waves would have been connected, so he wouldn't have had as much power. And then that was actually a B rank mission, but it was still like classified as a C rank mission, which is also like comes into play later, because I think the only person who did a B rank mission was Gaara for the Chunin exams.
That whole, I guess, arc kind of sets the tone for what the show is going to be, because to be fair, it did start off as we said before, it did start off kind of in like a rough patch where it's like, oh wow, Naruto he's just treated like a piece of shit. But even more than that, just how the world is. And you're seeing that now. Obviously, it's not in the Ninja War era, but it's in a time where there are still a lot of tense situations going on. You could tell because of the missions that they're taking on. As you see it, Naruto, in the beginning, as soon as they get to the land of waves, or is it right before when they get to the border or something? Don't they get ambushed by the it was not Zabuza yet.
No,
No,
it wasn't
it was
yet.
Two brothers, right?
It was two brothers, and I think they were Mist Ninja.
They were definitely Mist Ninja.
Yeah, they were in Mist Ninja, and their entrance was wild because it looked like they killed Kakashi at first.
And it was like psych.
And then immediately went to Naruto, cut his hand, and then Sasuke basically just like decides to be like, nah, I'm the MC real quick, and then like basically fights both of them, and Kakashi then comes in, just like grabs them both with one arm around their neck, and it's just like, yeah, we're done here. And I was just like,
They didn't even, like, Naruto and Sakura didn't even get to do anything. It was just Sasuke and Kakashi
Yeah.
taking control. And then I think it was after that when Zabuza, not way after, but like following that, it was after that fight that Kakashi ends up fighting with Zabuza, right?
yeah, they fight
And
twice.
doesn't he get trapped in this I forgot what it was
Water
called. It was like a water prison, right? And then they had to try and free him.
Yes.
Remember that? And then they had to do this it was like the shuriken thing where Naruto was like a shuriken. There was like a shuriken hidden under a shuriken or something like that.
So Naruto, it starts off with like before Zabuza even fully pulls up, like once the mist rolls in, because that was like his signature jutsu. Like he was like the known for like basically killing people without making a sound or something. Everyone's freaking out. Sasuke literally has a moment where he's just like the pressure, like the spiritual pressure, basically is so intense that he's just like, I'd rather just kill myself. And Kakashi's just like,
Chill, relax.
it's like I'm here, like relax. So from that point, that's when the fight starts, and then Kakashi and Zabuza like go at it basically, while Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke kind of defend Bridge Builder, in which Zabuza doesn't even care about them at that point. Like he pretty much gets through them immediately, and that's where a lot of the issue comes in, because then Kakashi has to like protect them and the Bridge Builder, and then he gets caught in the water prison jutsu. And then that's when Naruto and Sasuke come up with like a 300-step plan where Naruto throws Sasuke the Demon Wind Shuriken. He throws it at Zabuza.
So it was Sasuke then?
Yeah,
Okay.
he jumps over the Demon Wind Shuriken, and it's followed by two other Shuriken that I think he also dodges. And then Naruto was the Demon Wind Shuriken. He throws another Shuriken.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, now I remember. Wow. I mean, to be fair, big brain plan, but that was a lot of steps. I ain't gonna lie to you. But to be fair, like if you're fighting somebody of that caliber, you got to pull out all the stops. So I give him props for that. I believe it was later on down the line. It's Naruto and Sasuke versus Haku, right?
Yeah. So even when Haku's introduced, I forgot about some of this until I started rewatching Naruto again for some context recently. Haku actually is introduced by killing Zabuza, because at the end of that fight, like basically after Kakashi gets out of the water prison jutsu, he just dogs on Zabuza for no reason. Like he literally makes Zabuza think he's seeing into the future, and just like starts like there's the point where they're doing like the water dragon jutsu, and Kakashi literally finishes it before him while copying him, and he's just like,
what the hell?
Can't do anything about this.
just like, why is he Hood Nation certified? Like,
Bruh.
so the way that first part of the fight, that first fight ends, is that Haku like throws two needles through Zabuza's neck, and Kakashi explains that the mask that Haku's wearing is basically like a tracker ninja mask, and the reason that tracker ninja exists in the Naruto world is that it's their job to get rid of rogue ninja, because even their bodies like reveal a lot of secrets about the village that they come from. So Haku makes it seem like Zabuza's dead by throwing like the two needles through his neck, and then
But it was a trick.
And then that's also still when Kakashi like has the debuff where it's like, oh yeah, he uses the Sharingan, is basically bedridden for a week, even though that like he very soon, like later on in the series, pretty much like loses that entirely. But yeah, that established a couple of things. It established Kakashi's title as the copycat ninja, established like the fact that he has the Sharingan eye, and it kind of like also sets Sasuke up too, because he's just like, that's my clan's jutsu. And kind of like starts to set up the Kakashi basically like specifically mentoring Sasuke.
And which, to be fair, it's during this arc that Sasuke does awaken his Sharingan. I believe it's in the following fight with Haku.
Yeah. When Zabuza and Haku come back for round two. Sasuke basically solo fights Haku, and in the beginning they look like evenly matched, and Zabuza was like, "There's no way that someone's basically like matching Haku." And then before Haku does like the mirror jutsu, because I don't remember exactly what it's called, but that was also like a Kekkei Genkai, which was like a village specific, like a bloodline specific jutsu, which like the Sharingan is also a Kekkei Genkai. Um, but before that, like Sasuke is actually like keeping pace with Haku and like basically like wins the clash a couple of times, and then Haku's like, yeah, no, I'm not holding back anymore, basically. And it's during like in the water prison jutsu, I think that Sasuke gets the Sharingan.
It's an interesting time as well because Naruto, he does come to face the facts that Haku's death is technically on his hands. Not on his hands completely, but specifically speaking, that's Naruto's first kill, if you really think about it.
I don't know if it's necessarily Naruto's first kill so much as it is like his first experience with like seeing death in a mission, because like after Naruto starts like losing control because he thinks Sasuke is dead, which all of the story before that point was basically building up like the fact that Naruto and Sasuke are like actually friends. Do you see that in between when they start working on the climbing the tree jutsu, like the mastering like chakra flow so they can keep it in their feet to climb the tree. They basically are doing like that pretty much sets them up as like the Goku and Vegeta situation where it's like Sasuke's already good at it and then Naruto like keeps working at it and they start working together. There's also the point where like Naruto's taking too long at one point to come to dinner and Sasuke is the one that goes out to look for him, and that's when Naruto is talking to Haku in the forest. And then there's another scene where Naruto like is standing upside down in the tree and almost falls, and Sasuke basically like runs up the tree immediately to grab him before he falls. So it's actually Sasuke, like when he thinks that Sasuke died, protecting him no less, that like he first see the Nine-Tailed chakra, and Haku basically realizes, yeah, I'm not beating this kid. Like there's just no way with the Nine-Tailed chakra, and then tells him to kill her, well, to kill him. And
It's okay.
Yeah.
I thought Haku was a girl.
Yeah, I thought so too.
everyone who watched Naruto thought that. There was also a lot of people, I'm sure, that thought that Kakashi was like Sasuke's dad or something.
No.
But Haku basically tells Naruto, yeah, you're gonna have to just kill me at this point. Like, and then Naruto's like thinking about it basically, and then that's when Haku jumps in to save Zabuza from Kakashi's lightning blade.
Yeah.
Which is then the second time that Kakashi's had to like put his hand through somebody. And I was just like, I feel so
The
bad.
second time.
Like watching that back again, knowing like all the stuff that you know about Kakashi, was just like, oh god.
Damn.
And then the Naruto bridge gets named the bridge gets named
Named
Naruto
after
Bridge.
Naruto Bridge, yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, I wasn't expecting the bridge to be named after him, but his determination, his perseverance, kind of just leaped onto the bridge builder. Obviously, it makes sense. It makes sense. And then we move on from there to the tuning exams, which I don't know about you, but like I feel like that's probably a personal favorite for me, simply because of how it was properly divided up and because of all the fights that were set up in there. I'm not trying to say that I like it more than like the fight that was between Naruto and Sasuke for the Final Valley, but simply just the fact that everybody had the hands and there were so many different fights that they made sense. The fights to me, they made sense. The weaknesses, the strengths, and how they related to one another. It was just cool to me. Isn't there a scene like right before the tuning exams start when they first meet Lee, and Sasuke and Lee like butt heads? It's like inside.
Yeah.
Remember? And I believe that's when Lee first uses the move. What's that move called? You know which move that Sasuke copied and used later on?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Like Beef Hurricane? Was that the
Was it Leaf Hurricane?
Hurricane or Whirlwind? I can't
Wasn't
remember.
I don't know if it was Leaf Hurricane. It was the one where he like kicks him up into the air and then gets behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up in the air behind them. Maybe not one.
I forgot what it was called, but just like that entire, like it was setting a really big stage. And I just love the way they set it up. It's like, oh, it's not just, these three here and the people that you saw in class. No, you still got the people that graduated already. Like after them and before them, like they're there. They're going to be there at the tuning exams. Plus there's those who failed, right? Who are trying to pass it again. So there's a lot of competition. And to me, I felt like that was a lot of stakes, which more stakes came into play later on down the line. So obviously that's that. But If I were to ask you if you had like a favorite arc, would you choose the Chunin exams or would you choose a different arc from base Naruto specifically?
From base Naruto, I think my favorite arc is the Sasuke retrieval arc.
Okay. Okay.
Because like the Chunin exams was great, and that's a very close second, but there's just so much development that happens in such short time in the Sasuke retrieval arc. Not to mention the fact that like Sasuke is essentially what sets up the rest of the series. In the beginning, Sasuke is like the Avenger, and he like doesn't want to get close to anybody. He kind of starts to soften up to like Naruto and Sasuke, Naruto and Sakura, like throughout the first couple of like episodes. Especially Naruto, like it's very clear at like early on that they're friends at that point. Even when Sasuke's life is literally flashing before his eyes, one of the main like memories he has is like when he and Naruto like accidentally kissed in the classroom the first time because some like extra character like stretched back and then like everybody saw them kiss, which was wild.
Yeah, no kidding.
But Sasuke, for the most part, like is on a similar trajectory, I think, to Naruto at this point. And it's during the Chunin exams, during the Force of Death mission, that everything kind of shifts more towards where we end up in Shippuden at the very beginning.
I see. So that's why you'd prefer. Oh, well, that's why that arc would be your favorite.
Because it's like the Sasuke retrieval arc almost is like the climax of Naruto because of the fact that like it pretty much
leads up to
centers
it.
around Sasuke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Clean Bean, what would you say is your favorite arc?
Mine's a tuning exam.
Same.
Like,
you want to go into detail? Why? I mean, I have some words for tuning exam, but you want to talk? Go ahead.
yeah, let me go in on this real quick. So
We're gonna talk about the kids and Orochimaru. No, go ahead.
I'm not talking. I guess the first test is what really caught my eye because it was in a setting where it's like you're not doing any battles, but you have like a very tense situation to the point where, well, the person who was proctoring, I forgot his name.
Ibiki.
Yeah, Ibiki with the do-rag. And he was intense and just created like an intense atmosphere off the gate. And this coming from a guy that interrogates people. So you making a test that like, excruciating and to the point where it's, you don't know what to do, but then now you have to rely on your, any way to cheat without getting caught. I thought that was like a very brilliant idea because you're also looking at the intellectual side of people, which we've seen it deviate from person to person. Even with the sound ninja.
Sound ninja? Yeah.
Yeah, they were out the gate. They were very impressive. So, and then we see Naruto struggle.
And Naruto struggling because he's not as, I won't say not as intuitive and smart as the other so-called students. And there's, in addition to that, I think there were cheaters. Weren't they implanted cheaters in the room?
There was, yeah. So, for one, there was two Chunin who were placed there who were basically like decoy students so that someone had the right answers. And when they first set up the exam, it's all about like he establishes the rules and like he specifically says you lose points for getting caught cheating. And then that's where like what you were saying, where a lot of the intellectual stuff comes in, where you have to first off get through the hurdle of like the anxiety of taking this exam. And Ibiki is literally like the Hidden Leaf's interrogator, and he doesn't even necessarily, I'm pretty sure they said something to the effect of he doesn't even like torture people. He just like gets his information by like messing with their heads. So that's the first hurdle of the exam, like getting through the anxiety, and then it's realizing the whole point of the exam is to cheat. And then even that isn't easy because of the fact that the people proctoring the exam, like all the teachers that are essentially around, like watching the students, they don't even tell you when they catch you cheating. They just make a note of it. And then when Naruto starts to like decide he's going to cheat after everybody else already decided, that's when he sees like the first person get kicked out for cheating.
He's like,
He's just like, all right, that's 5, you're out.
that stress is crazy. I felt the stress for him. I really thought he was gonna actually fail because I was like, oh my god, this guy, he just doesn't have it in him. And the entirety of the process, right? They did it well in a way where you don't necessarily have to show every single ability that all the students have, but they were still giving you like a taste of like for example, they had Gaara's eye, right? That was made out of sand. I forgot what else they had, but did a mind transfer just to show that, we already know she could do, but like you're able to see it in action. Shino's bugs were going around there getting answers and shit. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is very intuitive. Just the way that it was done, it was just beautiful for me.
The sound ninja were like listening to the pen strokes or something to be like, yeah,
Which is
that's
wicked.
the answer. I was just
That's wicked.
wild. Also, like, one of the things that got me about the written exam was just the fact that, like, they clearly were playing favorites or something. Because there's just no way. Like, I understand in the beginning, like, Naruto kind of set them up for failure with the whole, like, announcing to them that he's going to become a Chunin and then everyone basically deciding that they hate him. But there's no way you're telling me they didn't see Gaara's eye. Just create an eye in his hand.
Yeah.
Just, like, put, like...
I was just chilling there. Nobody saw that?
What do you... Like, that's a whole eye.
That's a whole eyeball.
Like...
Yo, it's not even just a pupil. No, that's the ball, bro. But yeah, they pass. Obviously, not everybody passes, but they pass, and then we move on to the Forest of Death, which is probably, I won't say it's like the high point, but it's definitely a big climax within that arc in and of itself, simply because of the fact that, I believe the goal was to get both to have the heaven and the earth scrolls and get to the tower in the middle. And you were given one scroll, and you had to find that other scroll from a different teammate. Or not teammate, but different team, right? So I forgot which scroll Team 7 had. Was it the Earth?
I
think every team had...
Because it wasn't every team. Wait, every team had 2 scrolls? I thought it was each team had 1 scroll.
Yeah, it was each
Yeah.
team had one scroll.
And they kind of split it down the middle where it was like one would have Earth and one would have heaven, and you'd have to find the one with the heaven and take it from them, I think. So I forgot which one they had though, but regardless, the whole idea of it was cool to me. I was like, oh, they're about to go into this forest, and this forest is crazy, and they're each entering from different points in the forest on the sides, and I'm like, this forest must be big. To be fair, it was pretty big, but yeah, I don't know. Also, the fact that they're in the Leaf Village is kind of funny because it's forest.
I mean, the fact that Orochimaru wanted to appear out of nowhere and like act like a slimy motherfucker, like I swear to God, the man's weird.
Diddy ass nigga.
Like
Orochimaru is the Diddy of the Naruto universe.
the Diddy.
But like, the thing, even before we can even start talking about Orochimaru, there's so many things that happen in the very beginning of the Forest of Death that's established the rest of that part of the journey. Anko, first off, like, Anko was like, I'll let you explain Anko.
I just love Anko. I mean, to be fair, she did kind of, how Ibiki kind of gave you that fear when he first talks and everything. Like, it wasn't like direct, but he was serious, right? Anko, kind of the same, but she was like, I don't really give a crap if you guys die in there. Like, just go in there, do what you got to do. I'm here, bro. I can't help you. That's it.
One of the first things that she did was, I think Naruto was talking like as he normally does, and she threw a kunai at him on purpose and missed him on purpose and cut his cheek.
I remember.
And that's really important later on because, for one, the person that brings the kunai back to Anko is a grass ninja. But by that point, that grass ninja was already killed, and that's already Orochimaru in disguise. And they realized that later on, after, like, in the middle of the conflict. But the reason that Naruto's cheek getting cut is important is because, A, that's how they know about the sound ninja that first attacked them.
Yeah, he was using the clone, right? It was. I think it was sound.
It was sound ninja. He transformed into Naruto after Naruto got captured.
Yeah.
And so after he transformed into Naruto, Sasuke was the one that realized it wasn't Naruto, which again, like, proves that they're friends, because Sasuke, like, noticed every little detail. The moment he saw Naruto, it was instant. Like, he was just like, who is this?
Who's this?
I was like, what do you mean? That's Naruto. And he's just like, first off, okay, he had a cut on his cheek from the moment that we started this exam. That's not Naruto. And he's just like...
I guarantee you, Sakura would know every inch of Sasuke. But nah, not Naruto.
Knows every inch of Naruto.
Yeah.
Even when they set up a code. Pause. But even when they set up a code later on, Sasuke even says, like, I think there's another situation with a clone, and then Sasuke's just like, Naruto would not know the password. Like, Naruto would have been like, what was it again? And I was just like, I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
But it's just the fact that, like,
he knows that.
Thought about
he knows that.
Yeah.
But it's just because Sasuke's smart. He's a smart dude, but he is aware.
It's just like he pays a lot of attention. which is also really funny because he's aware that Sakura has feelings for him from the entire show.
He doesn't give until later.
And he's just like the entire
Until
time
later
he's
on.
just like, leave me alone.
Like, I'm trying to focus. You're not supposed to be my attention. No, stop. But yeah, they do make it though. Like, they do fight the Sound Ninja. They do, they fight Orochimaru. That fight is pretty wild.
Even just like Orochimaru, it's like Naruto gets caught by the snake and then he basically just like multiplies with the shadow clones and
he blows the snake up. Yeah, and that's when Sasuke gets the curse mark, right?
Yes.
Naruto sort of fights Orochimaru because Orochimaru basically like hits them with the all for one entrance where like Sakura and Sasuke are hallucinating their deaths just like from his aura, and then they just want to give him the scroll and be done with it. Like Sasuke's literally like, nah, like just take the scroll. I'm done. I'm not doing this. Right. And Naruto's the one that comes in like I think he slaps punches Sasuke in the face. He's just like, this isn't the Sasuke I know. We're not giving up this scroll. And then taps into like the Nine Tails chakra. And then that's when Sasuke I think first sees the Nine Tails through Naruto. But then like I think then that's when Orochimaru hits Naruto with the 5-pronged seal, which cuts off his Nine Tails chakra and knocks him out. And then Sasuke basically just goes like, nah, fuck that. Like, let's run the hands. Like, turns on his Sharingan and starts one of the wildest fights in Naruto up to that point. Sasuke and Orochimaru were throwing hands. Like, the things that they were doing, he caught Orochimaru on the tree, hit him with the fireball jutsu. Like, they were just, like, going at it. Like, that was almost comparable to, like, later on Kakashi versus Obito. Like, they were going in.
Combos.
Absolute combos. Like, Orochimaru, I don't know what Orochimaru was expecting, but I don't think he was expecting that smoke. I almost feel like that's probably part of why he obsesses over Sasuke later on.
Because he gave that smoke.
This kid ran the hands. Like,
I'm gonna have to get this guy.
You trying to tell me he's a sadist and a pedophile?
I mean,
He's both.
We already knew that, though. Like, yeah. He has Genin in the Chunin exams. He's just like, I don't even really care about them, honestly. Like, later on, Kakashi, like, runs into Orochimaru after Sasuke gets the curse mark, and he's just like, I don't really care about my Genin, honestly. Like, I'm leaving here with Sasuke one way or another. Like, we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. Oh, shoot.
Then after that, we move on to the preliminary rounds, right? Because they make it to the tower. They have the scrolls. We do
After
see
Sasuke breaks the guy's arm.
Yeah, we do see a fight. I remember there's a fight in between Rock Lee and I think it was protecting Sakura or something like that.
After Orochimaru, Naruto was out of commission for a while, and then Sasuke got the curse mark, so he was like dying basically.
And she was the only one who was like really standing at the moment.
Yeah. That was also around when Anko eventually like intervenes, like comes into the forest and then runs into Orochimaru and tries to kill Orochimaru. Doesn't work at all. But that's when you also find out that she also has a curse mark, so obviously she knows about it. And then during that fight, the 3 Sound Ninja pull up to basically like wipe Team 7 out, which again, probably because of the fact that Naruto was just like, we're going to be on top of this year, believe it. And they were just like, which also, like, it was probably partially that, and also the fact that, like, we already established from the beginning, something's off about the Sound Ninja. Like, even when you first meet Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuro, they're basically just like, oh, damn, like, we can't kill him in the Chunin exams. That's a shame. It's just like, relax.
They were pretty deadly. I remember that one scene where they were hiding. It was Kiba and right? I think it was that team. Kiba, Neji, and Shino. They were hiding, and Gaara was like, I think he just used a sand coffin or somebody, and they were like, they were sweating bullets. I think it was them, but I don't know. That scene set the tone for me for Gaara. And then you see it obviously later on when the preliminaries happen, which is probably one of my favorite parts. Preliminaries into finals too, as well, simply because everybody kind of gets their own time to shine, but also we get to see one of the greatest, most, I guess, for me, anticipated fights: Gaara versus Lee.
Yeah,
and
which you touch upon, like the Lee versus the Sound Ninja fight, which that was interesting because like, I didn't think about this until rewatching it. Lee was probably still, like, when he fought Gaara, he was probably still, like, nerfed a bit because of the fact that the Sound Ninja, like, hit him multiple times to where, like, he was, like, screaming, basically, with, like, their sound, like, ninjutsu.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the only reason any of them survived that was the, Choji and Shikamaru pulling up and using the Ino Shikacho, and then also Sasuke waking up with the curse mark and breaking that one guy's arm. But yeah, but we jump into the preliminaries. The first match is
So I have the matches here actually, so that way I could, I don't want to go too deep into the matches, but I do have the matches here. We got Sasuke versus Yoroi, which is the one where Sasuke he tries to use his chakra, or not tries to use his Sharingan, but he shouldn't use it because then his curse mark will actually start to affect him.
Yeah, Kakashi tells him from before the actual fight start, you can't use any chakra, and if you do, I'm jumping in and ending fight. Because he knows about the curse mark, and he's just like, you can't. So then he basically just goes, all right, I'm going to steal Lee's whole flow for this entire arc then, and then just like starts boxing.
And there's Shino versus Zaku. You remember that one where Shino, you basically kind of he like implants his bugs into this guy, yeah. Which, to be fair, that creeped me out. I don't know if listen, some bugs creep me out, but that was crazy.
I'm also pretty sure in the manga that
his arms were like blown off.
Yeah, his arms were blown off, like actually instead of just
like tattered. Yeah, because they looked tattered in that. They didn't look like they were actually gone. They looked like they were. Yeah, that's fair. And then you got then it's Sakura versus Ino right after that. Right, which was, I mean, to be fair, I kind of wanted to just blow my brains out for that one, but that's just me. Listen, I was cat fight, but like, you talk too much. Sakura, you talk too much. You both talk too much. Stop talking. There's nothing against. I'm sorry. There's nothing against women. I love women, but for that scene specifically, I'm serious. I love women, but I love women. But for that scene, I'm just like, yeah. Can you just get? I want to see Tamari fight. I'll watch Tamari fight all day. Do not want to see y'all fight right now. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Man,
Please,
I'm not trying to get canceled.
You would rather see the Tamari versus Tenten fight. You know what?
I would rather see the Tamari versus Tenten fight than Sakura versus...
Why would I see that when Tenten is literally useless?
Because at least you get to see Tamari beat the shit out of Tenten.
Oh my days. Okay, listen. Tenten is garbage. Tenten is literally the worst character I've ever seen in my life. She's literally useless. See, there's no point to her. All right? We already went through this. She has a whole ninja toolbox and is basically just straight up ass.
So you'd rather watch Sakura and Ino than Tenten and
Weapons
Tamari.
Master that gets less screen time than a pig? Yeah, I probably would.
Crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's like Tenten's entire bag is just random bullshit to go. And the thing that's so wild about Tenten's entire bag being that is the fact that throughout the entirety of Naruto up to that point, all you see is people basically being like a shuriken. Like, that's the best you can do. And it's just like, all she does is, I've got a lot of them and I'm just going to keep throwing them. And it's just like...
To be fair, that was also Sakura and Ino.
Yeah, but like,
at least you got to see some tornadoes, bro.
Ino has the mind transfer jutsu. Sakura gets a lot better later on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That point...
like, I do...
Later on.
I agree with you. It's just that, like...
I see your point, though. Tenten is trash. All right, we know this. Tenten is trash.
In other anime, there are characters that don't have, like, any of the abilities that other people do, right?
True.
Like, Jujutsu Kaisen has Maki, right?
True.
But true.
Upset about
I know he's salty. I know he's salty.
Maki doesn't have any cursed ability, and she's still one of the best characters there. It has a lot of depth to her, and then, like, she gets even more powerful later on. Nobody posts spoilers in the comments. I haven't read the manga yet. I'm going to, though. But, like, Maki is a really well-done character that stands out from the rest, even though she doesn't have abilities. Tenten is literally just there. Like, I don't think there is a single point that Tenten does anything besides glaze Neji.
I'm gonna be honest with you. She could have been a better, like,
they could have done
ninja tool merchant or something.
They could have done something with her, though. Like, they willingly chose not to do anything with Tenten.
Well, yes. Like, don't get me wrong. She does more than just, like, shurikens. Like, okay, you have, like, I think probably, like, just... I can't go with anything else.
You're right. Maybe we should stop talking about Tenten. Yeah, let me just...
Baby Denchuks? I don't...
Nah.
I don't know.
Nah, they could have done so much more with Tenten, but let me move on. We move on to the next fight. We had the... Rock Lee versus Gaara was after Sakura versus Ino. Now that was crazy. That fight was balling. I mean, just simply the fact that this man took off his weights was crazy to me. It was akin to, that scene when Goku took off his weights and it was in the tournament. He was fighting Tien, and Tien's like, you walk around with this? That's basically how I felt. I was like, yo,
like, yeah, you look like
Yeah, facts. So I love that fight. I mean, to be fair, Lee does get did, but
Well, yeah, but Lee also, like, for one, Lee's whole thing is getting looked down on for being a taijutsu master, right? And that fight shows, like, does a really good job of showing just, like, the fact that he only uses taijutsu doesn't mean shit. Like, he's just like, I don't got spells or nothing, I just got hands. And he runs hands with Gaara, who's probably the, like, most threatening person there at that point. Like, everybody's just kind of looking at Gaara like, I don't like him. Like, he's kind of scary. And he's the first person to really do damage to Gaara, and also like puts Gaara through it. Like, starts opening the gates, like just absolutely bodies him. Even to a point where even Gaara's like starts like tweaking. Like, something's wrong when a character starts like heavy breathing, like in the middle of a fight. Like Gaara was like doing the and like like you're just losing it, and it's just like.
They did an excellent job of really hiding Lee's abilities and showcasing it at that one moment. Because I'm gonna be real with you, when I was watching Naruto for that time, I did not expect Lee to be that strong. No, I don't think anybody did. And then you start seeing it, you're like, whoa. I don't know if Clean Bean, tell me, did you think Lee was gonna be hot? Like, I knew he was good because you see him fight Sasuke for a little bit, but you did not think he was gonna be like that, did you?
No, I didn't think he was gonna destroy Gaara. I thought he was going to be maybe like, I don't know, like mid-level-ish or so. But then again, that's kind of what they brought it out to be. They did, like, hint at his abilities when you're fighting Sasuke, and he's like, a danger. But other than that, like, yeah, no, I didn't think he was gonna be putting it up to him.
That was easily probably one of the best fights in the Chunin series.
No, I agree 100%, which is why I'm probably going to skip the rest of the fights, because I do not need to talk about Naruto and Kiba, because we didn't know he farted, and that was that. All right, that was that. It's not as if the Naruto versus Kiba was bad. No, I thought that was good, especially with the way he ended it, with the whole Uzumaki barrage, and the fact that it was like a modified version of Sasuke's own barrage, which also kind of came from Lee. It's interesting how everybody just learns from each other. Very, very complicated, complex, but intuitive learning. But that's not my favorite fight. I love Gaara and Lee. I mean, not Gaara and Lee. Yeah, Gaara and Lee. I love Gaara and Lee, but not as much as I love Naruto versus Neji. And there's a reason for it. And it has nothing to do with the fact that, the hands are different. Oh, okay, this one has better hands than the other. No. Simply because of the way it was choreographed, the way it was emotionally choreographed, I should say, because the fighting choreography is different from how it is emotional-wise. Like, you see Naruto struggling because of the fact that he gets his chakra points clapped. Like, he's not able to use anything at all. So what comes out at the end of the day? It's the Nine Tails.
Yeah.
And
then that was with the Fire Crown seal, too.
With the seal, too. What happened? He was under control, which is interesting. But just the fact that he was able to, I forgot what he said. It was something along the lines of, Neji basically talking down to him, talking about destiny and talking about, like, predestined fate of you're gonna be the best. Like, Neji knows he was gonna be the best because it's kind of in his line. Like, he was going to be the best of the Hyuga clan, right? I don't know if he is. I have no clue. But I don't know.
Later on, he turned into a pencil holder. So.
Yo, that's
mean, you have a good point. Did he deserve it? I don't know, but was he yapping too much at the beginning? Yes, for sure.
Oh, no, he definitely was. And that's what I like really about this. Iris, I'm going to ask you this as well, because everybody that Naruto faces and fights, a lot of them they talk the most shit. And you realize that they're just being an asshole. And then after he, kicks their ass, all of a sudden it's like everything changed. You know what I mean? Did you like that?
I did like that for Neji a little bit, because, like, not even just, like, the stuff he was saying in Naruto, but, like, I really, like, genuinely hated Neji after the Hinata versus Neji fight. Like, when I was first watching it back in, like, probably, like, 2007, maybe, like, I was just like, I do not like Neji at all. Because it's just, like, he was annoying. Like, his whole thing was like, oh, yeah, I'm the best, blah, blah, and it's just, like, don't care, still don't care, like, didn't ask, right? And then, like, the fight with Hinata, like, I was just like, that was the first, like, bit of her character that you actually get to see. Because before that's just, like, her being anxious and, like, being, like, in love with Naruto. But like that fight is where you first start to see anything about her, and it's just the fact that like Neji was like literally going for the kill, like to a point where like didn't like some of the teachers, like some of the Jonin, have to intervene so he didn't literally kill her. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, there was some
like, it's
hidden.
just like, I do not like Neji, so it was just like really satisfying seeing Naruto beat Neji, and I mean I think to a degree they kind of went into Neji's backstory a little bit and like how like he's kind of supposed to be like the fate of the clan and stuff like that. So I can kind of understand the pressure, especially because he was like a kid and like for a lot of like I don't even know how old they're supposed to be in Naruto, but they're still like relatively young kids.
Yeah, I think it was like 13, 14-ish. I think Neji was among the older crowd, so he's like 14-ish.
Yeah, so it's like I can kind of understand that part, especially because it's just like he had a lot of pressure on him. But the fact that Naruto beat him changed his outlook on like destiny and all that stuff, I think was really important.
I agree. I think that was probably the biggest point of the selling point of the entirety of the fight. The fact that Naruto, okay, maybe he's developing, you can clearly see it here, but it was more than that. It was a cross development. Neji and Naruto both developing at the same time as they're throwing hands, as they're fighting, and they're learning through their fists as well. And Neji, as you said, overcoming the fact that, okay, wait, maybe this isn't predetermined. Like this is, you have to make your own way. You know what I mean? Which is actually, let me ask you this. Do you think that Hinata would have had that same motivation to do what she needed to do if Naruto wasn't spurring her on? If Naruto wasn't there to be her anchor?
No, because like if you looked at the beginning of the fight, Hinata was already ready to cry. Neji wasn't even like he gets worse throughout that fight. And in the very beginning, she was just like basically scared because she knew that the power difference. It was really like Naruto talking to her that really made her step up. And even in the very beginning of the fight, like once he started yelling at Neji, she locked it. Like, and then the beginning fight of the fight between them is actually like, pretty good, all things considered. Like there's a lot of just like they're pretty much matching each other blow for blow, like some choreographed Dragon Ball Z fighting. You know,
Facts.
she almost gets it hidden pretty quickly, and like I think realistically the only reason she found that strength was because of Naruto and like pushing her forward, especially because she was already into it. That's true.
Nice.
Clean Bean, if you had a favorite fight for the entirety of the preliminary and final rounds, what would you pick? Because we got a lot of fights here, and then if we have, I think it's Tamari versus Shikamaru that happens.
I mean, that's my favorite, like, music.
Oh, with the fake? Yeah,
fake
soundtrack coming up?
Soundtrack? Yes,
It was
that's
good,
my
it was
favorite
good.
music, 1000%. But it's between, I would say, Naruto and Neji, or Rock Lee and Gaara. Because those had the most hype and anticipation behind them, in my opinion. Like, Neji was overdue for a kicking. Like, I'm sorry. The way he talked down to people, the way he made them feel like they were insignificant, and then that his, like you said before, like predetermined destiny, like it doesn't make sense for you to go and apply that as if you have it all mapped out. The problem is that you have his trauma from where he's raised and like how you are a branch family, and the branch family of the Hyuga clan was basically gonna be sacrificing their lives to make sure that the actual family, like the main branch, stays alive. Like, so he saw like his father, I believe, making sacrifice for one of Hinata's relatives to live, and we see that resentment being introduced into like him. So now he's taking all of that anger out on Hinata, and then Naruto's looking from above like, what are we doing? Like, I'm really about to beat your ass. I'm so annoyed.
It's funny.
That's my future wife right there.
Yeah.
Yo, that's my future wife. Stop. It's funny you say that though, because that's literally, I guess, the theme, not the biggest theme of Naruto, obviously, but it's one of the underlying themes simply because of the fact that a lot of the hate that goes towards Naruto is the hate that gets passed down from the parents onto the children. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they don't just innately hate Naruto because he's a piece of crap. To be fair, he's annoying. But let's be real. Most of that hate came from the parents talking shit. And that's how the world works to this day. People are going to be racially profiling, doing all the things that they're doing right now, and that gets passed down to the next generation. And then it's up to the next generation to go out there and learn things to then change their own mindset.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Talking about Naruto into like talking about like racism and stuff like that is kind of wild.
It's kind of wild, but it's
I
true.
get where you're coming from, especially because we're all from the village hidden in the hood. It's just crazy that we just did that switch up.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Like I would have passed it for One Piece, but like Naruto, damn.
Yeah, you know it. But yeah, let's move on to the next part, which is basically, we got Sasuke versus Gaara. I know that he comes back from he had like this little mini training session with Kakashi, right? And now correct me if I'm wrong, and I also want to ask our one of our Naruto geniuses over there, Random Dynasty behind the camera. Do you know when exactly the Itachi and Kisame pull up is? Is it during the Chunin exams? Or is it like in between one of the sections of the Chunin exams? Because I do not remember.
It is right after Naruto and Jiraiya leave.
So it's after they leave.
After Naruto and Jiraiya go get Sasuke. Not Tsunade.
Tsunade, right? Okay, so it's after. So it's the next arc. Okay, because I wasn't too sure because I felt like there was an introduction before then, but it did make sense.
No, yeah, it's Sasuke has the black outfit for a while.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was he still had the black outfit. It was just after the Chunin exam.
Okay, so the Sasuke versus Gaara does happen, and that's the fight that ends up getting interrupted. But that fight gets interrupted after Sasuke kind of pushes Gaara's button, right?
Yeah, and so that fight was wild because of the fact that for a while, just the pull up, like it was just like Sasuke was running late to his fight to a point where they were going to call it, and then he just shows up back to back with Kakashi on the entrance.
That was cool.
Like, where they just are in the middle of the arena. It's just like, yeah, we here.
See the leaves around him too. You're like, what the fuck? Where'd they come from?
That's where like the symbolism with the leaf comes in with Sasuke and stuff. And it's just like the pull up was crazy. Then Sasuke again comes in, still copying Lee's whole flow.
Mm-hmm.
And giving Gaara PTSD at that point, basically, because he's just like, oh, I've seen this before. Sasuke manages to is doing really well in the fight, and then he manages to actually like hurt Gaara to the point where he starts bleeding. Then that's when Gaara like fully like D1 crash out, fully just like loses his mind, and then like puts himself like in a like covers himself with sand, and you're just like, oh, what is he doing? Because he starts like chanting while doing a bunch of hand signs. Gaara gets hurt once to where he's bleeding, and he just immediately pulls out the Jinchuriki.
Shukaku, like, I need you. What? Yo.
D1 crash out.
Yeah, honestly, that just the fact that Sasuke is able to hold his own somewhat versus Gaara before he even brings out the Shukaku says something, and then the Shukaku stepping in, and then I believe it was like an arm, right? Wasn't this like a scary ass arm?
Sasuke like ran through Gaara's like sand protection with
Yoroi, yeah.
And then that's when he's just like, what is this red liquid? And then just starts losing his mind. And then Sasuke then goes to attack again, and the hand comes out.
I think he gets stuck. He gets stuck in there, right? Doesn't he gets stuck in there, and then the arm comes out.
Yeah, he pulls out, and then the arm comes out.
Honestly, that was a scary moment for me. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I was scared for Sasuke's life. I was like, oh.
This is another moment where it's like, one thing that was really interesting about Naruto is that the story really focused on Sasuke more than anything, which I mean, like, Shippuden also does, but like, a lot of the events that take place in Naruto are either the direct result of Sasuke doing something or have to do heavily with Sasuke. The first time you see the Nine Soul chakra, right? It's literally because Naruto thinks that Sasuke died, right? Then there's the whole, like, Sasuke gets the curse mark and then everything changes. So then he can't use chakra during the shooting exams. He, like, everyone's basically, like, super attentive of him now because of the fact that, like, they understand what happened, right? And then you also have Sasuke coming in and fighting Gaara, and then Gaara that's basically starting the invasion of the Leaf, more or less, because then Shukaku comes out, and then everything goes. Basically.
That's right. That's a good point, though. That's a good point. And then that's when the fight gets interrupted, and then shit hits the fan. That's when everything, the entire plan that Orochimaru had concocted with the sound and the sand, and I believe he was kind of manipulating the sand at this point. They did find out a little bit further down the line that, okay, we're actually getting manipulated by Orochimaru. But let's be real here. We're watching them, right? We're seeing them as the enemy. We see the sand as the enemy, even though later on they do become friends. Personally, for me, in the beginning, I hated Gaara. I know Sasuke in the beginning, right? This is like, Why are you laughing? Just tell me your thoughts. Why are you laughing?
Nah,
What you laughing at?
nah, I'm good. I'm
You
good.
good? No, I kind of want to hear your thought. Like, share with the class. What was your thought?
I would
You even got the people behind the camera.
no,
Now
it's
you gotta
just
say it.
Sasuke. Like I don't know. Every single time I think about him in the beginning, I just think about him like cool entrances, cool aesthetics, all that, and then just getting beat up all the time.
You're weak, Sasuke. You lack cease.
Oh yeah, like literally, like I had pictured like Itachi holding him. I remember a meme of it like Sasuke, you're not weep enough. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? And I just see him with like wearing an obscene shirt, like with a bunch of
Oh, that's what you're thinking of.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I get it.
I don't know why.
So that's what popped up in your head. And you were like, okay, pause.
That's the first thing I was thinking of when we were talking about the dark.
You weren't a degenerate out in the open in the last episode.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
Didn't work, did
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that Yo, behind the camera.
Behind the camera, there was a dry erase board that said "freak," which is what both of you are.
You're freaking what the
Excuse me.
you want to censor all this shit, you know that? But anyways, moving on. The damn, that's crazy. I can't believe that Dynasty behind the camera is just pulling up. We got to move on because we're not because we got time. Let me continue.
Things centering around Sasuke, right?
Yes. All right. So centering around Sasuke, the entire situation changes because that plan that Orochimaru hatched is now going into play, where everything around the entire Leaf Village goes to because it was a well-coordinated planned attack. Now, you have all the Sound Ninja, all the Sand Ninja doing their thing. There's fights going on everywhere. Gaara leaves. Sasuke chases after him. Naruto goes after them. And there's stuff happening within the stadium as well, but there's also stuff happening within Sasuke. Sasuke trying to fight Gaara. Fights Gaara. He loses, right? Gaara's obviously still using the one tail at that point. It gets worse because Naruto shows up and he's like, Sasuke, you made him. I'll do it. I got this. Don't worry. What happens? No, he does get his cheeks clapped a little bit in the beginning, but he ends up, using his nine-tailed chakra. And who does he summon?
He summons Gamabunta. Because at that point he was already training with Jiraiya quite a bit, and then Gamabunta turns into the Nine Tails, right?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that entire scenario, just the fact that it was like the first time we get to see on screen two Jinchuriki, I guess we'll just call them summons, because you do see later on where we're going to talk about with the Tsunade arc, just the fact that you could summon these beasts that are just huge, they're gigantic. That was the first fight that we get to see like that, like Titans fighting basically. And I thought it was really cool. And it all amounted to this one final blow, which was practically a headbutt.
Yeah.
So, and then talk no jutsu for the first time.
Talk no jutsu for the first time.
I used to swing, on the swings back in the day or whatever. What do you say?
Swings, like nobody messed with me,
No,
I'm just like you.
I'm just like you.
I'm like
Gaara is literally like the patient zero of top no jutsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good. That fight ended, but I guess the really most it was a pinnacle fight for sure for the story, but it was not as pinnacle, I will say, as the fight that happened between Orochimaru and Hiruzen. Simply because of the fact that it changed the course of the entirety of the show and the Leaf Village. The fact that he does die in the end. You know what I do keep forgetting though? The fact that Orochimaru uses the Edo Tensei. Like he brings back the first Hokage and the second Hokage, and then has them fight. I keep forgetting that. But I remembered it and I was like, they really had Hiruzen boxing with the first and the second plus Orochimaru?
Yeah, there is a lot of once the invasion of the Leaf starts, it's just off the rails from there. Like we were talking before we started recording the episode about the fact that it's more of a time of peace for the younger generation in Naruto, because like we said, it's not like they're in a war.
Yeah,
but there is
there is some tension.
Like Jojo said this before, but there is sort of a cold war going on between the villages, because the Sound and Sand came together to try to overthrow the Leaf, and you even see throughout the Chunin exams, there's a lot of just tension and fighting between the different Hokage of the different villages. And And I think wasn't the Sound and Sand Kage in on the plan also?
I believe so, yeah. Well, no, I think that the Sound Kage was Orochimaru. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe
I
that's
believe
correct.
so.
I believe so. Because
Or Sound Kage, yeah, Sound Kage. Because there was no,
Yeah,
I don't even
there
think there was any sound, like the sound weren't included in the 5 Kage, were they?
I mean, because you had the leaf, you had
Let me use my sock real quick.
you had the head in the cloud, you had
Cloud.
you had the sand, you had
Cloud.
head in the mist.
Mist. And okay, sounds included. Sounds included.
Sounds included.
So sounds here. So yeah. Oh yeah, he created the sound. That's what it was.
Yeah, he
okay.
created the sound.
He created the sound.
Yeah,
Bro,
I remember he
cameraman's on
created
point
the
today.
sound.
Yeah, so he created a sound. So the reason why I remember this is because I remember he pulled up to the Chunin exams, the final whatever, as like the Kage. Like, wasn't he wearing like? Remember, wasn't he supposed to be? He was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was disguised. That's how he got in.
I think that's how he got the third Hokage alone, and that's how the fight started.
Right,
He was
exactly.
disguised as one of the
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense. He was basically the spawn of the sound, or he had the sound under his command, so to speak. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and even with the fight with Orochimaru, like Hiruzen does end up dying, and that leads into the next arc when Naruto and Jiraiya basically go to get the next Hokage, which is Tsunade. But that whole fight was also wild because, like you said, the whole bringing in the first and second Hokage, which also means that the third Hokage is technically stronger than both of them. Or like,
I think what happened
it's
was
weird.
because of the Edo Tensei, they weren't at full power. They were some basically dividend of it, and I guess, but still, like just the fact that he was fighting the 3 of them, regardless, that's still crazy.
Fought the 3 of them, still fought Orochimaru, and then still had enough chopper to use the Reaper Death Seal.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get to fully like seal Orochimaru the way he wanted, but he did seal Orochimaru's hands.
Which does play a factor into the following arc, because I believe. Oh, okay, cool. We're running out of time, but I believe that after he dies, which we'll just kind of pass this part real quick. He does die. It's a whole sad, everything's sad and everything like that. But what leads up into the Tsunade arc, besides the fact that they have to get the new Hokage, is the fact that Orochimaru wants to get his arms healed, and Tsunade is supposed to be the best healer to ever walk the planet. So she's got to be the one to have the answers to get my arms fixed.
Yeah. It's like the Leaf is chasing after Tsunade to make her the Hokage, and then Orochimaru is chasing after Tsunade to try to heal his hands.
Yeah. So it's like a deadlock, really. But before we get to that, though, because we're about to jump into, like I said, the Itachi showing up, right? With Kisame, and he's got a hat on and everything. They got their hats on and they're walking through. Everybody's like, who are these people? The Katsuki and everything. And I forget who, they were looking for Naruto, obviously. It only makes sense. And Sasuke realizes this because Sasuke sees his brother. And immediately, what does he try to do? Attack him, obviously. But he realizes that Itachi's not looking for him. Like Itachi doesn't care about him. You're like a flea, bro. Go away. To be fair, there's some stuff hidden there, but like still.
Yeah, but that's literally where your weak Sasuke comes in with him pinning him against the wall.
Yeah.
But even before, we have to talk about the pull up because they walked in and they get stopped by Kakashi, Kurenai, and Asuma.
Yep.
And what happens in that fight, right?
Bro, they get clapped. What's his name gets stuck? Kakashi gets stuck in the
And Genjutsu.
in the Genjutsu. Itachi put this man in what was it, like 1,000-year?
Tied him on a pole, and then there was copies of him just stabbing him for years on it, basically. 32.
It was so bad.
Kurenai.
Kurenai trying to put Itachi in a Genjutsu.
Didn't work, did it?
I don't know what she thought was gonna happen. I'm sorry. Really?
You thought you were gonna. It's funny because we were just talking about this. How Neji in one of the fights, I think it was Neji versus Hinata. He was talking about how Byakugan's supposed to be the strongest visual prowess jutsu there is, like Kekkei. I was like,
yeah, Kakashi said that, and I was like, what are you talking about?
I was like, better than the Sharingan?
Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's technically a direct derivative, but
Nah, bro. With Sharingan, you can see everything in 5K, 10K.
You have Sharingan. You have Mangekyou Sharingan. You have Izanagi. You have Izanami. You have it goes into the Rinnegan. Like no,
Get
no.
into that in Naruto, but it's just like Kakashi's whole bag is copying other people's bag with his Sharingan, and then Sasuke also starts doing the same thing because of that.
And you
Like,
tell me that's not OP? Like that's come on, it's crazy. But yeah, Kurenai Sensei, yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, no, sorry, just nothing.
Yeah.
Azuma, I think Azuma definitely does handle things better than Kurenai does, but I think he still loses, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, hey.
And the wildest part about it, I don't think Kisame did a thing. I'm pretty sure he was just sitting there the entire time.
Yeah, I think it was just Itachi.
Itachi was the one that was just bodying everybody.
Yeah, I think Kisame was like, all right, let me just try and go find Naruto or whatever.
He was basically just Itachi's hype man. Like, he was just like...
And then when they go to get Naruto, Jiraiya is the one who kind of saves the day. He does his whole frog thing where he like puts them inside the belly of a frog.
Yeah.
And I forgot what jutsu, like the name of the jutsu, but I remember like the entire hallway was like a frog stomach, and they couldn't escape from it. And it was some crazy thing. He had to use his Amaterasu to actually get out. And I was like, damn. Like, that's saying a lot. When you fighting a Sannin, bro, who could trap you forever. Yeah, that's how you know the Sharingan's strong. But yeah, then we move on from there to the Tsunade arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when Naruto learns about the Rasengan. You find out about Tsunade's like tragic backstory of like basically everyone she's ever like loved dies. Wild. And then it leads from there right into like after Naruto learns the Rasengan, into which he was supposed to take years to do, but just managed to do in like not even a month. Like
3 steps.
5 days.
5 days. He had 3 steps to do it. He had the water balloon, he had the rubber ball, and then
just by himself.
I think it was just by itself. Yeah, he used the clone to actually create the form.
Yeah,
right, I believe, or to keep it stable because it kept spiraling out of control or something.
Yes, it kept on spiraling out of control. He put another shadow clone to like help him create that stability, and then it kind of accelerated his process. Now I think about it,
which actually helps out a lot. But I love that because it's a jutsu that supposedly only the 4th Hokage and Jiraiya can do. Nobody else can do it. And Naruto picks it up in 5 days is just baffling to me.
And of course the 4th Hokage can do it.
We'll talk about why the 4th Hokage knew it. But yeah, it was interesting to me. But in addition to that, right, you know, they find Tsunade. Tsunade's a gambler. Tsunade's gambling all her money away. She has her assistant there, Shizune, right? And she's got the Tauntaun pig, right? And I think
Tauntaun gets more screen time than 10-10.
Yep.
And for good reason.
Yep.
Like I don't want to make the whole episode like just talking about 10-10, but it's just like she does nothing. Like there are other characters in Naruto who do nothing, but 10-10 does literally nothing.
I'd rather watch Porky Pork than her. I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry. I don't really see. I don't see the attraction. I don't like that pig is literally my spirit animal. 10-10. I don't know. You're regular. Yes. Yes.
That's a your bro, mind you. Not this bro, your bro.
Yo, all right. Yeah, I gotta stop talking about Tente because, yo, for real, she's just so trash. But yeah, no. It's after that point, right, when they finally meet Tsunade and they're trying to get her, and she has a decision in her hand, right? Do I do Hokage or do I not? She doesn't feel up to it, obviously, because for reasons. She could see why. Orochimaru pulls up. He's like, hey, can you heal my arms? Basically. Can you do something? Dry is there. And she's like, no. What the fuck? No. Obviously, she knows about what happened with, Orochimaru doing the whole thing with the plan. And then it erupts into a battle. Kabuto's there. Because
Kabuto's basically like Orochimaru's apprentice.
Yeah.
And part of what makes that whole thing so wild is also the fact that, like, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru were also on a team. Before they were the legendary Sannin, they were on a team together.
Which is why I love that scene that comes up.
with
Yeah.
3.
with the 3. I love that scene so much because it brings up another soundtrack that I love that soundtrack. You know what soundtrack I'm talking about? It's right as the summoning happens. Just, bro, oh my God, watch that scene again. Watch that scene again. I'm gonna go watch that scene again. But
It's gonna be in this episode.
it's 100%. Like literally, like, they summon and they're all just rising up and the song's playing and then they're all up there and looking at each other like this, a deadlock, bro. That's got to be one of the coldest scenes I've seen in Naruto for
The
real.
triple summoning jutsu.
Triple summoning, 3-way deadlock.
Yeah.
So good, honestly, bro. It's really hard to find good scenes like that these days. That's just so good. But that does lead to a fight that happens, and Naruto ends up. I want to speak about this in a second because Naruto ends up fighting Kabuto, and this is very interesting because Kabuto is supposed to have like way more experience than he does, but like he's supposed to be at a higher stage. I'm pretty sure Kabuto was like 19 years old by that point, maybe even 20, right? And to be fair, Kabuto has some tricks up his sleeve. They're like, whoa, this man actually might beat Naruto. But nah, Naruto's been working on a secret jutsu, and he ends up beating Kabuto with the Rasengan, which is cool.
I'm also pretty sure Kabuto tried to kill Tsunade at one point when she was like running low on chakra and meat, and Naruto stepped in and saved her. And I think that's part of what made her make her decision to be the Hokage.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're correct.
Naruto also reminded her a lot of like her brother, I think.
Yeah, younger
Yeah.
brother.
Because part of why like it took her a while to make the decision to be the Hokage too is because she had to live up to a lineage, but she's like directly just she's like, isn't Hashirama her like great grandfather?
Yeah.
Her grandfather. Yeah.
Her grandfather. So yeah, it's like he was the first Hokage and also like the dead Goku in the Majin Buu saga of this arc, basically.
Facts. And Tsunade had a fear of blood. I remember correctly.
Yes.
She which is crazy because she's like the most advanced medical ninja you'll ever find ever, and she's afraid of blood. But she ends up overcoming that fear during this fight. And I think, you know, Naruto is a big reason why as well. But yeah, that fight does end, and you know, Orochimaru is not successful in getting his arms freaking healed. But hey, we'll get that the other day now. But yeah, then Tsunade comes back, and then Tsunade's here, and then she's like the 5th Hokage at that point, right? But she also comes back because I think it was Kakashi, because of what happened with Itachi, and Sasuke too were both injured, right?
Yeah.
And Tsunade healed them. And I believe Lee was also injured by that point, but Tsunade couldn't really do much. I think she had to do like some kind of like surgery or something. I don't know if I remember. Do you remember? I don't remember
I
correctly.
think I remember, yeah.
I forgot what it was. I think I remember.
I think it was Lee was still not fully healed from when he fought Gaara.
He was in a crutch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was using crutches, and then she had to do surgery to let him be able to use his legs again or something.
Something like that. Yeah. And he thought that he wasn't like, I think she said that he might not be able to fight again or
Yeah.
something. And it was something serious where they had like a whole episode for it where Lee was basically like contemplating life and everything. Like, this is what he lives for. And Guy was like, Lady Tsunade, it's my student, my precious student. Yeah.
That's basically his son. Like
Basically, man raised him. But yeah, at that point we kind of move into like the final big grind arc, which is the Sasuke retrieval arc, because you know Sasuke's healed at that point because of Tsunade, and he's starting to realize, he's like, Itachi just whopped my. I want to beat Itachi. I want to avenge my clan. In addition to that, Naruto's progressing really, really fast, and I feel like I'm falling behind. I need an answer to that, and the answer, he thinks, is Orochimaru, which has the answer to power because he saw what the curse mark did and everything like that. So yeah.
Didn't they have a fight before that happened?
Naruto and Sasuke? Yeah, they did. I think it was after he was healed too.
Yes, because it was
On the rooftop, right?
on the rooftop with I remember Kakashi intervened, and they didn't like intervene, like you saw like the dent within the water tank, I think, and then also some other
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, you remember that?
It was the 2 water towers,
Yeah.
and then Sasuke saw his, and he was like, yeah, I did it. I did that to that water tower. And then he saw Naruto, he's like, what the he said, damn, and he was all upset and everything. And I think that might actually seal the deal too with him. He was like, yeah, nah, I gotta go.
yeah, for sure.
I gotta go.
And then the whole Sasuke retrieval arc is about the fact that Orochimaru sends a team of like 5 people.
Yeah, it's a total of 5.
Yeah.
Shikamaru was the leader, right?
Yeah, Orochimaru assembles a team of like 5 people
Oh, Orochimaru.
Sasuke
Yeah.
Oh,
to his
Orochimaru.
like hideout,
That's tough.
and then the kids in the village assemble a team of 5 to basically counteract that and then get Sasuke back because they're like Sasuke's our friend. He's a member of this village, and it's Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji, Neji,
And Kiba.
and Kiba.
Yep.
And the things that those kids go through in the Sasuke Retrieval arc are absolutely wild.
It's your favorite arc, right?
There's so much that happens in that arc and so much growth that takes place, and you really see like each. It's one of the only arcs in Naruto that gives every character there a chance to shine. Because like one of the things that I don't like about Shippuden is the fact that there are characters who were supposed to be really important that kind of get like thrown away.
Mhm.
Like Lee doesn't really do much of anything in Shippuden.
True.
Half the people there don't really do much of anything in Shippuden. Like Shikamaru obviously has his moment later on, but we'll get into that when we talk about Shippuden. But it's like he's pretty much the only person from anyone from the Chunin exams who has any like relevancy later on, besides like Gaara, Tamari, like even Konkuro kind of floats into the background. Like they just throw out a lot of characters who have really good potential. And this was kind of the last moment that you see in Naruto where like a lot of the side characters get their piece.
That's true. And it was one gigantic arc. Like I think it was maybe about like 30 episodes, something like that. Yeah. 30 episodes, really big arc. And each fight, you felt the emotion in each fight. And I'm trying to remember which fights weren't completed by the aggressor. And the reason why I'm asking this is because you remember the Sand comes to help out later. Right. So does Lee, because Lee eventually comes back to help Kimmaru, right? But there were fights that I think there was a fight or two that was finished. Because remember, if you think about it, the Sand come, right? Gaara helps Lee. Tamari helps Shikamaru. And Konkuro helps who does Konkuro help?
I forgot how Conqueror helps. I think it was.
I forgot who he helps, but that still leaves one more fight that was probably finished. Choji finished his. Thank you, Dynasty. I think it was Choji who actually finished it. Like he actually completed the mission, and he didn't need help. But to be fair, he was like practically almost dead. But still,
every single one of them almost dies. Like Neji has a moment where I remember watching it as a kid and thinking that Neji literally died. Because I think he gets like shot in the chest with like a chopper bullet or something to that, like in the shoulder with like a chopper bullet or something like that. And then his headband comes off, but that's when you see the mark on his forehead and everything. And there's like they kind of start telling his backstory and stuff, throwing up all the death flags.
Yep, they're all up there. I really thought he was gonna die too. And it was interesting because like at that point I was like, oh, Neji's finally getting the character development that he deserves because I hated the guy. But I really started to like the guy now because he started to see Naruto and most people actually as better than what he originally thought. So, and then I was like, damn, now they're going to kill him? To be fair, he does die later, but still. He got his time. What do you think about Lee and Kimmaru?
Lee versus that's Lee's like last major moment, and that fight is completely insane. First off, who let Lee use drunken fist boxing? That's my first question before we get into anything else.
Whose idea was this?
Whose idea was this?
Shit, blame Guy.
we gotta talk about Guy at the next town meeting because I'm trying to understand who taught him this.
It's funny because wasn't it Guy who was like talking about it as it was happening? Like I'm pretty sure it was like there was like a guy was talking to somebody basically telling them how like Lee's what happened when Lee got like drunk this one time, like accidentally drank something or something like that. And Guy made it seem like he was like a threat. To be fair, he's a threat.
Lee is literally Little Mac. Little Mac from Smash. Little Mac be smoothing too, like at certain points. So
yeah, but he keep falling off the stage and can't get back up, bro. Yes, no recovery, bro. All right. So Kimura had a Kage Genkai, right?
Yeah,
I believe it was his bones structure. He was able to just grow and separate from his body and use them as weapons. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was the case, right? Yeah.
Kimura was also supposed to be. He was supposed to be the vessel for Orochimaru before Sasuke, and then he was like too sick or something, right?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I remember. He couldn't be the best. That's why Kuroshima was like, let me get Sasuke because he's the perfect cocoon. Could just grow him and hatch him, and that sounds wrong. Anyways,
So wrong.
it is. It's kind of how it was though, if you think about it, because he was technically in like a barrel.
Yeah, you got a point.
Was it a barrel when he was getting taken?
I think it was a barrel.
Yeah, I think it was like some akin to a barrel. I think it was sealed too, or something like that. It's weird, but yeah, I have the fights actually. I have them written down. I know that there was. So Choji was fighting
Jiro.
Drover, right? He was. I think he was the only one. Like we asked Dynasty, and he said that he was the only one who actually finished the fight, right? So Gaara came and helped Lee, and then it was Naruto left with Sasuke.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm starting to frame all this now because the only thing I can remember besides that point is literally the 10-piece combo. Was that a 5-piece combo? It was a 5-piece combo. 5-piece combo.
5-piece combo midair.
The final hit was the overhead.
The overhead. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that fight might be the best fight. So at least from what we've seen, but it might be the best fight in Naruto.
Absolutely.
Period. Unless you get to give another fight.
I mean, it's the best fight in Naruto for sure. Shippuden has a lot of really good fights, but
True,
Yeah.
But just Naruto based Naruto, yeah.
For
Definitely the best fight in Naruto I've seen. And you were right. They do get their time to shine. And Naruto and Sasuke, this is probably the most screen time that they've had together at all. Like just the two of them, right? At the Final Valley. The Final Valley, or they call it the Valley of the End, right? I think there's two names for it. Something like that.
And it has the Hashirama and the Madara statue.
Yeah. So, Clean Bean, let me ask you.
Okay.
How do you feel about Naruto and Sasuke's relationship?
Dang, that's a question I had. So Naruto and Sasuke's relationship, I kind of view them as opposites. In the beginning of let's say the time span, because Sasuke is older technically, but he wasn't as old. He's not extremely older than Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly around the same age, and Naruto from the jump, because of the fact that Nine Tails sealed within him, he's a Jinchuriki. He's already isolated from everyone. People don't like him. They try to stay away from him, and they don't want to be near him. Okay, great. Sasuke was honestly the complete opposite. He did have his family. He did have that, notoriety. You see, there's a little flashback that's always in Naruto Shippuden when they go into the past with Naruto and Sasuke. But that brings up a good point because of the fact that Sasuke was kind of looked up, like people looked up to him as the next big thing in the Hidden Elite Village, compared to Naruto, who you didn't have really anyone or not that many people that supported him. It started to change once we see Sasuke's whole family gets destroyed, completely murked, and now he's on a mission. And he's like, I'm about to isolate everyone. So he's doing the exact thing that Naruto was experiencing. He's isolating himself from everyone, but Naruto just is isolated without even him trying.
Mm-hmm.
Then he starts to, I guess, imprint his will onto other people, if that makes sense. He keeps on speaking to himself, I'm going to become Hokage, or I never back down from a fight, and his ideals start to be impacted onto everyone. You see onto Neji, you see onto Hinata, onto sometimes Shikamaru. There was only a few people that actually hanged out with Naruto. Probably Shikamaru is the one that's been around him the most, and then Hinata with her hidden feelings and cherishing and caring about him from the side, but it wasn't up front. And as the series progresses, you start to see Naruto gains a lot of people around him, Well, Sasuke starts to lose them.
I mean, it's safe to say that Sasuke never had them in the first place.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think it's like, it's a duality because they both are the same at the same time, different.
Yes.
And I want to ask you this too as well, Iris, because this is the culmination of that simple fact, the fact that they're two of the same people almost coming together in a way that's difficult to see because their conflicting views aren't so conflicting really. Not at all, but they're fighting at the final valley. And it's almost a direct relation to exactly what happened with the Senju and the Uchiha from the past. And how do you feel about that?
I think, for one, the final valley is obviously an amazing fight, but it's also kind of a clash of ideals because of the fact that, like you were saying, Sasuke had like the notoriety and had like the status essentially among like the kids that were all in that year. Like even getting everyone together for the Sasuke Retrieval arc, a lot of them were just like I looked up to Sasuke. He's kind of like he's part of this village. Like he's one of my friends. Like I want to save him, right? And I think the problem was that like for Sasuke, it was like he kind of got that naturally, but didn't actually like make those connections. And the only connections he made were to like Kakashi, Sakura, and Naruto, and people on his team. And I think Sasuke kind of goes through something similar to like Majin Vegeta a little bit in the sense that like he started to soften up. Like you saw like him and Naruto were basically pushing each other in training, and it was pretty clear that like that for one Sasuke like sacrificed himself to save Naruto when they were fighting Haku, right? And you see a lot of like Sasuke truly cares about his team, and he was also, mind you, the first one like when Kakashi was just like, "What you guys aren't understanding is teamwork." He was the one that fed Naruto first when he was on post.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that happened that eventually pushed Sasuke to leaving. I don't think he just like threw like obviously he didn't just throw a tantrum one day and leave. It was Itachi pulling up and realizing how weak he was compared to Itachi, and that's like his whole drive for the rest of the series essentially until like they actually clash, like beating Itachi, especially because Itachi wiped out their family. And part of what I think ultimately pushes Sasuke over the edge is the fact that, let's not forget, when Itachi does pull up and body Sasuke, he also used Genjutsu to make him keep reliving his parents' death over and over again when he was there.
Tragic.
It was like 518,000 times or something like that, just because. Because for some reason Itachi was just on like demon time. I don't know. Like it was stabbing at Kakashi like a million times over the course of years, and then it was making Sasuke just relive like his trauma point like 3 million times. Like, but I think that ultimately is what made him like. That's why he went on the quest for power, and that's why he was just like, I'll isolate everyone, and like even in Shippuden, like Sasuke's whole thing is like like getting rid of his bonds and like scattering them to the winds and stuff like that. And I think that's something he basically says because he almost sees like his connections as a weakness. And it's through, and obviously Naruto is his best friend, and that's part of why he rejects Naruto the most. Because they're also very similar, and I think like because of that relation, like that's why the Final Valley is so important, because it's like Naruto didn't have any of the things that Sasuke did and is still trying to get him to come back to the village and is still trying to be someone in the village. Sasuke was already someone in the village, but didn't really want that. The only thing he wanted was like his actual family, and he started to find people who like felt like home to him essentially, but he still wasn't strong enough to like beat Itachi. He wasn't strong enough to like even keep up with Naruto towards the end. So then that's why he ended up leaving.
I agree. That fight was crazy though. That fight was absolutely wild. I mean, to be fair, it does start off with a little bit of talking. I know that Naruto like socks him in the face and then gets on him, and it's like just talking for a little bit, and all of a sudden the fight begins, and it starts off with Naruto getting clapped because I'm pretty sure Sasuke is using the curse mark by that point, at least some bit of it, and then a lot of falling into the water in that fight for sure. Yep. But it kind of progresses and it just leads up to an increase in power for each person. Like Naruto goes from, or I should say Sasuke, he's using his curse mark, right? And he's fighting Naruto. He's getting clapped, but then Naruto starts to pick things up, right? Then Sasuke decides to uses Sharingan, right? Naruto starts to up the game. He gets some of his Nine Tails chakra leaks out, right? And he starts using that. That's when he gets hit with a 10-piece combo. I mean, the 5-piece combo plus the overhead slam, okay? And then
Gay combo.
they call it the Sasuke combo. And then, yeah, there's just so much that happens in fighting. That's why I just think it's like the best fight. There's so much that happens. So many hands thrown. Do you have any like favorite moments from that fight?
I mean, the
Naruto
5-piece.
chain, like just
The Naruto chain? Oh, look, like,
Oh, the chain with the click. Oh, that.
yo, Naruto clone chain.
he caught Sasuke lacking while he was like taking a breath, standing on the water, grabs him by the ankles. And it's just a chain of like 100 shadow clones, and just whips him around in the air and then throws him into the rock. Absolutely insane. Like the Sasuke combo is obviously the one that everybody knows. Like that one is all heavy attacks, stomach punches so hard that he's lifting into the air, and then finishing up with the overhead, like knocking him like basically to
Into the water.
the floor of the water.
Bless you. Was it during the chain or right after the chain when Sasuke burns the chain? Is that when he does the pile driver? I feel like that's it, yeah. And then he does a pile driver, and Naruto literally gets slammed into like off the cliff, like in the edge of the
Like hundreds of feet on his head because
That's
Naruto's
crazy.
at the front of the chain, and Sasuke was basically like, "Nah, fuck that," and then grabbed him, like hit him with his own combo, and then grabbed him in the air to hit him with the pile driver.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like
That's fucking
Naruto should have
crazy.
died. Like,
100%.
That the show should have been called Sasuke after that point because Naruto should have been packed up. Like, how do you drop like regardless of Nine Tail chakra or not? Like, he literally dropped hundreds of feet to drop him on his head.
It's crazy. Your neck is gone. Like, come on, you're dead. But nah, he wasn't dead.
Head trauma, neck broken, spine broken.
Was that by that point? I think that was when the chakra actually started to leak out of his body. Like literally came and formed into the Nine-Tailed Fox. I think they call it the cloak or something, like a mini cloak or something like that.
Yeah.
It's way different from the actual cloak that you see later on in Shippuden, right? But that's when things get serious, and I'm pretty sure. Isn't that when Naruto like starts using the extension of the cloak to like extend his moves and stuff? And he's like just basically, I think he like shouted to get rid of one of the fireballs that were coming his way. Bro, I'm remembering some wild stuff right now. But
they just start pulling like things you've never seen from them at that point in the series.
and obviously the one thing that we're not going to forget is the clash. It was the Rasengan and the Chidori, but the Rasengan was a different color, I think.
It was still blue, I think, but he was using the Nine-Tail chakra, so it was like
Vermilion
Rasengan.
Oh, it was like a different color, like vermilion. Yeah.
And then Sasuke was using like the full power of the curse mark, and his Chidori was black.
I don't really like his full power curse mark look personally for me. I think it just kind of looks ugly. I don't know if you agree. I think it's the wings for me personally. Like okay, the skin's dark, cool. I'm dark, okay. I'm cool with that. But like the wings, bro, they look like webbed hands, just like getting ready to wrap around somebody.
They look like deformed chicken. That's what it looks like.
Deformed chicken. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. You could have done better with the design, but I guess it's cool because you're making it look grotesque to a point where it's like this is the length that Sasuke would go to achieve power. He would look like this. You know what I mean? Like he would do this.
Yes.
So it kind of doesn't glorify it. It makes it look hideous. So I guess it's necessary. But
no.
No,
no, it was not necessary. I did not need to see that. I could probably bleach my eyes and maybe like just, I don't know, take out my memory bank, but that's about it.
It's also just like I don't understand why like that form just comes with like purple worsted.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Came with it.
That's a good point, Iris.
Like it's just like what is happening, right? Like why?
It's not necessary. But yeah, then the fight, the aftermath, it's Naruto basically almost dying. I think Naruto does like scratch his, that's where you get the
the scratch.
The headband. That's crazy. Yeah, and I think Chidori goes through Naruto and he's he's obviously not dead because clearly he, you know, he's still doing his thing. But that's a real key moment there for the show because, and this is why we're going to be ending the episode here, is simply because of the fact that all the episodes that follow, they're not canon. I mean, well, like they're canon, but they're not like they're not related to the actual plot. Nothing story-wise happens until Shippuden, right?
Yeah.
After that, it's just nothing.
The Naruto story essentially ends at the Final Valley. Like
Thought
part
so.
of why it's called the Final Valley is literally because of that, and then anything else that comes after that for the next like 100, less than 100 episodes, so it's like 220 total.
Yep.
It's just like there's no story progression.
I mean, you could tell when you're watching it. Like I know that there was one that was I think I have a few of them actually here. There was one for the Land of Tea. You remember that one? There was one for Mizuki tracking. There was one for the Bikochu beetle. I remember that.
Oh, I remember.
You remember that Bikochu beetle? Yeah. There was some family removal thing. I forgot about it. But all those arcs, like I just didn't. I could tell that they were filler. I was just waiting for when we go get to Sasuke. When we go get to Sasuke. Clearly, it didn't happen till later. It's different from Bleach. With Bleach, the fillers, it felt like obviously they didn't belong. But there were some times that the fillers you couldn't tell that they were fillers. It felt like they were intertwined with the story. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, that's why we'll be ending it here. But so, what do you think? Good Naruto episode? I mean, this is probably our longest episode. Now that I think about it.
Nice.
But that's good. Longest episode for the producer. Hey.
I can't wait to edit it.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Like hearing myself and seeing myself on the camera and being like, oh yeah.
That's how I feel every day, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, so we're pretty much done with our 4-episode run, which is Dragon Ball, One Piece, Bleach, and ending off with Naruto. And we're gonna be running it back with our normal part 2s, probably later on, right?
Yeah.
Probably like the end of the year. But we'll go back to our, topic shenanigans that we usually do. We'll probably do an episode about next season. Because we gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about that.
Next season.
Sure. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. If you've been watching for this long, thanks for sticking around. Say goodbye to our guest, Iris, the podcast producer and editor. We appreciate you. Good luck. Good work. I appreciate you.
I'll take the good luck.
Good. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Deuces.